The 90s is the decade of the saddest and the most depressing music. Yeah, I know you are thinking, how? Didn't the 90s produce glittery teen pop represented by Spice Girls, Britney and Christina? Yes, but the friendly pop hits we associate that decade with were nothing but a small blip. The study by the British Psychological Society concluded that 1990s music was in fact the most depressing in the past 40 years. But how did the period of economic prosperity and relative peace create such dark music? The answer is very surprising. Let's dig into 90s grunge and generational traumas and find out. Researchers analyzed 4 decades worth of pop hits in terms of their song structure. They found that songs in minor mode had increased gradually from 1965 to 2009, with the 1990s being a decade where use of minor keys reached its peak. It all started in February 1991, when something unexpected happened. A song by an underground rock band not only made it to the chart, but ended on top of it. The song was "Losing My Religion" by American alternative rock band REM. The single peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed on the chart for 21 weeks. Then there was "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana in September. Its impact was swift and violent, crashing a demolition ball through pop culture. "1991 was the year when alternative rock left the 1970s underground and officially entered into the mainstream. Nirvana, with this snarling anthem, their messy misfit thrift store clothes, and smirking sense of abandon, made it all feel real. The album, Nevermind, even pushed Michael Jackson from the top of the US Billboard chart. Including contradictory lines and statements, the song is full of sarcasm and disgust towards oneself and surroundings. David Grohl, the Nirvana drummer, said that Kurt wrote lyrics in 5 minutes, and he doesn't believe he tried to say something with them. But isn't the intentional lack of effort a message itself? The angst slowly moved to nihilism and apathy with the emergence of Radiohead. Radiohead's debut single, 1993 Creep, became a worldwide hit. "I wish I was special, but I'm a creep." Appearing in shades of doom and gloom, the song reflects themes of unworthiness and a lack of self-esteem. Radiohead's popularity rose with the release of their third album, OK Computer 1997. Noted for its complex production and themes of modern alienation, Paranoid Android and Karma Police are on this album. Lyrics on Paranoid Android, tying with a number of themes common in OK Computer, including insanity, violence, slogans, and political objection to capitalism. Karma Police also shares themes of insanity and dissatisfaction with capitalism. Success is not logical and is not entirely dependent on you. The hard work and sacrifices don't guarantee the results. For a minute there, I lost myself. Could refer to accidentally letting go, relaxing, and being okay with yourself before you remember that you are still under scrutiny by other people and the system. In the 1990s, even pop became sad and depressing, with songs such as "Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely" by Backstreet Boys and "From the Bottom of My Broken Heart" by Britney Spears topping the Billboard Hot 100. Sadness was in the air, or better, all over on MTV, and it felt like there was a huge demand on depressive, nihilistic, and apathetic music. We can find sad music in every decade, not that the 90s was the time artists collectively decided to write depressing songs. The decade was special because of how much listeners were attracted to sad lyrics and minor keys. The sadder the song was, the more likely it would end up on top of the chart. The music reflects the culture of its generation. Lyrics in particular represent the general societal values and views of the time. Since people in the same generation experience similar events within their lifetimes, songs tend to follow certain trends based on the decade that they are written in. So in order to understand the reason why 90s gave birth to the saddest songs of modern times, we must analyze the generation that created demand for it. 90s cultural trendsetters were young adults of the time, the Gen X, born between 1965 to 1980. The generation represented by Kurt Cobain, Eminem and Tupac, also referred to as the generation of lazy slackers. On the surface, everything was going well for Gen X. The economy was growing, creating jobs and opportunities for them. The Cold War had just ended, and the world was in relative peace. But if you look closer, the real wages lagged, and the gap between the rich and everyone else widened. During General X's formative years, Americans were embracing individualism, the free marketplace, and unabashed capitalism. Divorce was reaching its peak, and children, left to their own devices, were becoming latchkey kids. In the young General X, the culture of the era instilled a wariness and skepticism, and a kind of figure-it-out-for-yourself mindset that pretty much put pressure on the shoulders of young Gen X. From gloomy alternative rock to wistful R&B, the best sad 90s songs are the Gen X decade's answer to the bubbly synthpop and upbeat glam rock of the 80s. After all the ugly optimism of President Ronald Reagan's 1980s America, with the era's booming free markets and greed is good mantra,
I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich! All you have to do today.
Smells Like Teen Spirit gave a voice to a new class of young people overcome by apathy. So yeah, timing is very important. I don't think Radiohead's OK Computer would reach any success if it was released in early 2010s when escapism was at its peak. Thanks to angry Gen X, the ones who skateboarded through high school with flannel shirts and angry music during a period of economic stability, we have been massively exposed to masterpieces such as Zombie, Muscle Museum, and Don't Speak. So thanks Gen X for an amazing decade for music.